We are going to reveal the NCAA Women's Basketball Committee's top 16 for the very first time. Obviously, lots of other factors going into this year in the middle of a pandemic, but we're going to start now with the number 4 seeds. At number 16, the committee has Kentucky. Rounding out the top 16, Indiana at number 15. The 4 seed for them would be the highest in program history. Also, West Virginia at number 14, and Tennessee. They've appeared in 30 NCAA tournaments, the most of any team. They are also a number 4 seed, according to the committee. How about number 3 seeds? Georgia rounding out the top 12. Committee has them at number 12. Oregon, they're seeking their 4th straight NCAA tournament appearance. Baylor at number 10. The committee has UCLA at number 9 right now. A 3 seed for them would match its highest in program history. To the number 2 seeds now. This is where things get interesting. Arizona, number 8. Maryland coming in for the committee at number 7, a top 3 seed for them in 4 of the last 6 NCAA tournaments. NC State, committee has them at number 6, and Texas A&M, they right now are number 2 seed, the 5th team in the country, according to the committee. Now for the top seeds in the top 16, UConn, the number 1 overall seed, followed by South Carolina, Stanford, and Louisville. Louisville seeking to be a number 1 seed for the 3rd straight tournament. So as we take a look at the top 16 now, UConn has been a number 1 seed 21 times, the most of any team. They've appeared in 28 straight NCAA tournaments. South Carolina, of course, just recently lost to UConn, so they do have the head-to-head over them, and that is something certainly that the committee factors in. And, Coach, I want to bring you in now. At first glance, you take a look at that top 16, and what is it that stands out to you?
Well, the thing that stands out to me is North Carolina State. You know, they're screaming in Raleigh right now. This is a team, North Carolina State, that has beaten 2 of those number 1 seeds. They beat Louisville at Louisville and South Carolina at South Carolina. Now, understand, and I do understand, that North Carolina State has lost 2 games, but one of those was in overtime to Virginia Tech, without arguably their best player, Elisa Cunane, who averages 15 points a game. So I think North Carolina State has a case to make. They're the only team in the country with 2 wins like that.
Certainly interesting, Coach, as well with Louisville, because they do have the head-to-head over Louisville, and Louisville is above them. Carolyn, this Texas A&M team, just on the outside looking in, they're number 5 according to the committee. Is that right in your opinion?
Kelsey, I don't think it is, because when you look at Texas A&M has beaten more ranked teams, not just good wins, but beaten more ranked teams than anybody in the country. And when you look at this graphic of a comparison of the 4 teams that are in that number 1 seed right now, I've got to question whether it be maybe Louisville, because Louisville has 5 quality wins, but not against ranked teams. The other thing that Texas A&M has going for them is that, yes, they lost to LSU, but they beat LSU. To me, that's a wash. And last but not least, the eye test. I really feel like Texas A&M passes the eye test, especially after the victory that they got over Tennessee. They demonstrated, if you want to take away the inside game, we've got a perimeter game that can score as well. They are deadly at all 5 positions.
Charlie, how about Baylor, the defending national champs? They are a team that the committee told us they had extensive discussions about. What stands out to you about where Baylor is?
Well, I'm really surprised that Baylor ended up as 10 overall and a 3 seed. I've had Baylor as a number 2 seed solidly throughout this process and all the bracketology updates that I've done. And quite honestly, I thought Baylor would be almost closer to a 1 than to a 3. So it does surprise me a little bit. I do get the logic. Baylor has lost twice. But, gee, since their last loss to Iowa State, they've been completely dominant. They're the 3rd highest rated defensive team in the country. I really thought that they would be on that 2 line. I still think when all is said and done, Baylor may get to that 2 line, but my thinking that they could have been a number 1 maybe at some point, that takes a big hit because at number 10 overall, there's a lot of teams you're going to have to jump over. So I think Baylor's fate is really resting in a 2 seed at the best by the time we get to Selection Monday.
There is definitely a lot to break down. This is just the first reveal. We'll have another reveal of the top 16 in 2 weeks on March 1st. And then, as mentioned, Selection Monday, just 1 month away.